Child's Play 2. Child's Play 2 is directed by Lafia, and I'm continuing my series of Chucky reviews leading up to the remake, which is coming out in June, with Child's Play 2. This is a direct sequel. They find Chucky's burnt body from the original, and Chucky is back, baby. So let's get right into what I liked in Child's Play 2. So the first thing that I like is Kyle. She is a great new addition into this franchise. Her mum adopted her when she was 3, and she has been living in foster homes since she was 3, and she's like 17 or 18 when you get to meet her in this movie. And I really like Andy's and Kyle's bond. That scene on the swing is great, and just the chemistry they share is fantastic. And they teased Kyle to return in the next installment in the cult after credit scene. So if they make, I think it's after the remake, they're making like a ninth but Chucky movie. I think I'll have Kyle and Andy maybe like gang up to destroy Chucky once and for all, maybe. Because one like that would be kind of like a cool little, I guess, reboot idea or something. But anyways, but yeah, in the cult of Chucky after credits scene, they teased Kyle to return, and it's sad that she didn't like reprise her role in Child's Play 3, even though that's the one where it's like based all in the military and all that. There could be at least maybe like a little like subplot with Kyle in it. I would have loved to see this actor reprise her role as Kyle, because she is fantastic in this. And yeah, I mean, I just really liked the chemistry. I dug their chemistry together. The scenes, some of the scenes where Andy and Kyle are together are some of the best scenes in this movie. Like that basement scene when they're all hanging out they're hanging out the clothes. That is a great scene. So some of their scenes are some of the best scenes in this entire movie. But yeah, I would have loved to see her return maybe in like Bride or Seed, but no, she didn't really reprise her role until Cult of Chucky, and plus her role in that is very, very small. And according from what you learn from the after credit scene, apparently Andy sent Kyle. So apparently they've been friends for ages, but they kept in contact and all that. But yeah, she reprised her role in Cult, and in the next Chucky movie, she'll have a big role in that. She'll be reprising her role as Kyle again. So yeah, I mean, I think yeah, she is great in this movie. But yeah, let's move on to the second thing I like, and that is Alex Vincent. He reprises his role as Andy in this, and he is pretty good. Andy is not taking Chucky's bullshit in this. He knows Chucky is after him, and I love that scene when Andy goes into the basement with a carving knife to confront Chucky. And in that scene, you can tell Andy's built more confidence from the first film. He does not want to play victim anymore. The foster parents do not believe him about Chucky, and he has to convince them that Chucky is real. In this sequel, it builds so much more on Andy's character and on the state of life he's at right now, with his mum being in a hospital and Andy dealing with the whole like Chucky thing. Because if I was Andy, I would be scarred for life. Like, I would not want to see like a good guy's doll. I would not want to touch. I would never even want to hear the name Chucky or Good Guy's Doll. And he can just tell his mind is very like messed up and very kind of confused, because he's in the foster home. His mum is in the hospital right now. He's in a mental hospital, and yeah, you can just tell his mind is very because like yeah, that's a hard thing to forget what happened in the first movie. Like seeing your child-friendly doll coming to life and trying to kill you. That's such a really horrific thing, and yeah, I feel like it really builds on Andy's character in this one, and yeah. So yeah, let's move on to the third thing I like, and that is the foster family. I really like these two. I bought them as a family. I like what they are doing. They just want to get Andy's and Cole's life back on track and give them a good life that they never got. And I didn't really like that the foster parents didn't believe Andy about Chuck. I was like, come on, you know what happened to Andy, and like this kind of the same thing happened in the first movie. Like Andy's mum would not believe him about Chuck, and it's kind of happening in this. And the foster family, there was a scene at the beginning. It's like in the first like 10 minutes where they're having a conversation with like the leader of the foster, well, the leader who is controlling, I guess, who's looking after Andy right now. And yeah, and she told them what happened to Andy, and she said that a doll was trying to kill him or something like that. So they know, and they just don't believe him. And I felt that, I mean, it has potential behind it, and I mean, they have to have a story, but Jenny and Garrett, who played Joan and Phil, did great in their roles. It was sad when Joan died because she's just a parent trying to do the right thing, and I didn't think she deserved to die. Phil was great as always. I've always liked Phil since I watched Child's Play 2 for the first time. Always liked Phil. Their chemistry is great with each other. I bought them as a family. I bought them as foster parents, and I just liked what they were doing. Like they're trying to give the kids who had a rough past, who had something horrific happen to them. They're just trying to get their life back on track, and just what's in the past is in the past, and what's in the future, that's what matters. And I feel like this really carries over. I feel like that's why this is such a great sequel, because I feel like from the events of the first movie, like if something happened like that, that's gonna be something that's gonna be very hard to get over. That's like to seeing your innocent little doll, your childhood doll, come to life or kill you. That is something horrific, and seeing people dying in front of you, that's something very hard to get over. I feel like the events from the first movie have really carried over, and have really built Andy as more of a strong and a more confident character in this one. And yeah, I just really liked. I feel like the foster family, Joan and Phil, I feel like they really gave a lot to Andy, and they really, I think, it really developed on Andy more as a character and where he's at in his life right now, because and what's going through his mind, because Andy, his mind is really like twisted at what's happening, and he's very like scarred, and he's just haunted from what happened, from like the seeing Chucky come to life and just trying to kill him, and I think just experiencing like his mum being locked up in a hospital, and there's just all these events that have gone wrong that Andy has to deal with. I feel like it gives him it gives him more development to his character, and more of a lifestyle, I guess, more of a state of life to his character. And yeah, I thought Jonah and Phil, yeah, they gave, like I said, a lot to Andy's character, and yeah, I really enjoyed Jonah and Phil. I bought their chemistry together. I thought they have some really good scenes in this movie, so yeah. So yeah, let's move on to the fourth thing I like, and the fourth thing I like is the deaths. This is the biggest sequel when it comes to the deaths, because the deaths in this are bloodier than the first. Every death in this is on screen, and there's blood squirting. The death I always found hard to watch is when Chucky puts that plastic bag over that guy's head. I find that such a uncomfortable death, and just the concept of not breathing, just being suffocated and not being able to move it's just so and then there's the third act when that guy's eyes gets like pulled out, or they're pulled in. I don't know how that machine does work, but yeah, the guy, like, he goes into the machine and the thing goes into his eyes, and yeah, that's a really, I think, a graphic death. And then there's the teacher death, where Chucky comes out of the closet with the ruler, and he smacks his hand with it. I think that's a really great death right there as well. So yeah, let's move on to the fifth thing I like, and the fifth thing I like is the third act. This is one of the most funnest third acts in any horror slasher. It takes place in the good guy's factory, and I love that scene when Chucky completes a ritual and it's too late, and he's stuck in this body, and he's pissed, and he's out for vengeance, and he wants to kill Andy, and if nobody can have the body, Andy can't have his own body either. So yeah, Chucky's on a rampage, and he wants to kill Chucky, and yeah, Charles, where he's stuck permanently now in the body of this doll, and he can't put his soul in Andy's body anymore. And plus, Andy wouldn't let him do that. Andy's too much of a smart kid to actually let him do that. But I thought that was such a great scene when he completes the ritual finally, and it doesn't work, and it's like the time's like running out, and Chucky's he's already turned into human, because throughout the film he gets like a bleeding nose. So it's kind of like event after event after event leading up to that one scene. I felt like they pulled off that scene actually excellently, phenomenally actually. And there's a big chase scene between Kyle and Andy and Chucky, where they're surrounded by good guy toys, and like that's such an atmosphere. And when every corner they turn, it's like a dead end, and it's like a big maze. Like every corner they turn, it's a dead end, and yeah, that's such like a tension filled scene right there, because Chucky's in there with them. Because if they confront Chucky in that maze, it's like that's bad news right there. But yeah, luckily, yeah, they find their way out, which was good. But yeah, that's a very like tension-filled scene right there. It really builds a tension like atmosphere right there. And we have to talk about Chucky's death. This is easily in my top 10 or top 5 favorite horror movie kills for me. Like if Chucky gets reversed in the machine and adds more legs and more arms to him, there's like 10 legs poking out of his stomach. There's like 10 arms and legs like poking like out everywhere, and it looks all like deformed and all that. And then pours like melted plastic all over him, and then he dies. And the cinematography in that scene is absolutely gorgeous. Like it's just like gorgeous like panning shots. Like yeah, it is great. Once the melted plastic is like it's like really melted him, like the cinematography just like kind of like a 360 kind of shot, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. Like most of the cinematography in this movie is just gorgeous. Actually, there's some really gorgeous shots in this movie. But yeah, back to the third act. But yeah, Chucky dies. Then Chucky comes back to life, and they fill him with oxygen, and then he explodes like blood, guts everywhere, and like Chucky's death is so memorable in this and filled with so much like energy, and it delivers to a Chucky fanboy, and is one of the most funnest third acts. And I love it. Like that, just like the whole setting of it taking place in the good guys factory where Chucky was created and where he's from, just like that whole like atmosphere, just like that whole factory, it builds. There's so much fun to have in that third act, and that's one of my favorite third acts, along with one of my favorite horror movie kills in any horror slasher that I have probably seen, actually, because this the Chucky's death, it's like he dies multiple times in this movie. He does come back about 4 times, but he always comes back to life. So in the end, when they pour the black plastic, the melted plastic on him, you think he's dead, and him getting all deformed with the like multiple legs, multiple arms like sticking out of him, you think he's dead, but he always comes back to life. It's just it's funny how many times like he dies and all that. But yeah, I love Chucky's death in that third act. This is one of the sequels that's probably better than the first, even though that first one it's such a great movie for me. That's like a stand up. That's like the first Child's Play. That's like a stand up slasher movie. But this sequel works. It builds more development on Andy's character. It's more of a character-driven story at where Andy is at in his life right now, and yeah, it's like it really it makes everything bigger for a sequel. That's kind of like bigger does not necessarily mean better, but in this case, I feel like this is probably one of the better sequels in horror movies, because usually especially horror movie sequels, they're kind of just horror movie cash grabs. But this, I feel like it really builds more on the character, and it's actually a worthy sequel, and it's one of the sequels where I can say it has a better third act than the first movie. Even though Chucky's death in the first movie is so great, like where Andy says this is the end, and then he throws the other match into the fire and he sets Chucky on fire. Even though that is such a great death, I feel like Chucky's death in this, it's so much more bigger. It's so much more. I feel like it's a lot more funner. But I feel like I'm just trying to like figure out now if I like the first movie or this one better. Like I mean, the first Child's Play is such like a dear movie to my heart, but I'll think about why I continue talking, because there's still a few more things to get through. So yeah, the next one I want to talk about is Brad Dourif. He really sells himself in this with the voice. It gives a next element to the character, and a big credit to the animatronics team who made Chucky. Like that, they did a phenomenal job with the facial expressions, because there's so much work on the facial expressions and just the way he moves. And yeah, the animatronics team did a terrific job with the facial expressions, just the way he moves. It's just so creepy. It gives like a next level creepiness to the character, and it gets us like and just like Brad Dourif, he just himself, he gives us like a next element to this character as well. So this movie really just builds so much more, but makes Chucky just more of a character in this, and that's what I think I love about this sequel, and why I love Andy so much in this sequel. And there is actually a scene in, I think it's in like, I think that's like the 24-minute mark of the movie, I think, where Andy, he tries to turn his life around by he's trying to become friends with the doll again. And at that point, I was just kind of like, yeah, I would not be doing that. I would take that doll like straight off him. If that was my kid, I would take that doll straight off him after the events happened in the first movie. I thought he would be scarred and just like horrified after the events of the first movie at what happened to him. And yeah, I feel like that was kind of like a dumb move at first, but then I feel like I really came over to be like he's trying to really impress these foster people and try and make them like him more. And I mean I can see what they're kind of doing for that scene, but yeah, like Andy, he like takes him like into his bedroom out to the swing, and he's like actually holding him, which I was just like, yeah, no, I would not be holding that doll. I would be like, no, I would take that thing straight off him. I would smack his head under the bloody cement because it's like I mean the movie definitely has problems like I said the foster family not believing him and just Andy just trying just holding the doll and just trying to guess be friends with this doll again. I found like the kind of dumb, but I feel like it really came over to really seeing what they were trying to do. I really see the director's vision with that scene, and I feel like I really came over to respect that scene now. But yeah, Brad Dourif, yeah, he really sells himself in this with the voice. Like I said, he gives a next level element to the character, and I feel like he really gives something to the character. And actually, fun fact, and Brad Dourif, he actually said all his lines. He actually went to the recording room and he recorded all his lines before Child's Play 2 went into production. So yeah, I don't know. I thought that was just kind of like a little fun fact I could throw out there to you guys. But yeah, the animatronics team who made Chucky, yeah, they did a phenomenal job. They really, I think, really upped everything in this sequel, and it's like I feel like it's a better sequel, but yeah, overall, yeah, I had a blast rewatching this, and I can't wait to review Bride of Chucky, Child's Play 3, because I have actually never seen Child's Play 3. So yeah, I can't wait to check that one out. I've heard kind of mixed reviews. All I know is it's based in the military. So yeah. So anyways, guys, let me know down in the comments if you have seen Child's Play 2 and what did you think of it. Till then, guys, I'll see you guys.